Greetings, explorers of the unknown, lovers of space, and those who continue to ask uncomfortable questions when official answers stop sounding convincing. Today we cross a Rubicon. What you are about to hear will fundamentally change your understanding of what the object known as 3I Atlas truly is. This visitor did not simply disturb the calm of our solar system, it tore apart the foundations of classical celestial mechanics. Over recent weeks, a strange and unsettling pattern has emerged. Major media outlets, once filled with headlines about the comet of the decade, abruptly shifted their attention elsewhere. Experts who for months insisted that 3I Atlas was nothing more than a dirty snowball from the cloud have gone quiet. The reason is simple. Real-time data from small observatories can no longer be forced into the framework of a conventional comet model. We are not observing decay or fragmentation. We are witnessing structural stabilization. Infrared imagery, independent spectroscopic analysis, and photometric measurements reveal anomalies that defy expectation. Instead of spectral signatures associated with sublimating water ice and carbon monoxide, instruments detect isotopic patterns typically found only in extreme stellar environments. This alone places 3I Atlas outside any known category of cometary behavior. On December 19th, the object passed its point of closest approach to Earth. Those 48 hours became a dividing line, separating modern astronomy into before and after. While most of the world was distracted by routine life and seasonal celebrations, telescopes across the planet operated at the limits of their capability. From the high-altitude observatories of Chile to automated systems on the Canary Islands, from private installations in California to the Space Telescope itself, every possible photon was captured. The object's angular velocity forced tracking systems to operate in non-standard regimes. This was not passive observation, it was pursuit. One image, produced from raw, unprocessed data by an experienced, revealed something unprecedented. Instead of a diffuse tail, 3I Atlas displayed a rigid, sharply defined antitail, glowing blue-green and extending directly toward the sun. It did not disperse. It did not curve. It behaved less like gas and dust and more like a directed beam. Within days, identical structures were independently confirmed from multiple locations across the planet and from orbit. Optical illusion, instrumental error, and atmospheric distortion were eliminated. What remained was a physical structure that does not belong in any existing model of cometary or asteroidal physics. The scale of the structure is staggering. The antitail of 3I Atlas extends more than 500,000 kilometers, exceeding the distance between Earth and the Moon. No comet in recorded history has demonstrated such geometric rigidity across such an immense span. According to everything we know, solar radiation pressure and the solar wind should tear such a structure apart almost instantly. Instead, it remains perfectly aligned, directed straight into the oncoming flow of solar energy. This cannot be explained by sublimation alone. To maintain such coherence, the emitted material must either possess extraordinary mass and inertia or be produced by a directed emission mechanism operating within the nucleus itself. This is not simply a tail pointing the wrong way. It is a physical paradox. Calculations based on brightness profiles and dispersion angles indicate that material is being expelled at velocities exceeding 130 meters per second. In the near vacuum of space, such kinetic energy demands a powerful internal source. Passive ice cannot produce this. Even more disturbing is the interaction with the solar wind. Rather than being scattered, the stream pierces through it, retaining its shape and orientation for weeks. This behavior is consistent not with chaotic outgassing, but with a stable, collimated jet. In functional terms, it resembles propulsion more than geology. Further analysis revealed something even harder to dismiss. The emission displays a strict periodicity of approximately 7.74 hours. The source sweeps through space with clock-like precision, completing each cycle as reliably as a lighthouse beam. From this modulation, researchers determined a rotational period for the object of roughly 15.5 hours, a value that has remained unchanged for months despite intense gravitational stress and continuous mass loss. Natural objects do not behave this way. Comets spin up, slow down, and tumble chaotically as jets turn on and off. 3I Atlas does not. It behaves like a gyroscopically stabilized platform. Harmonic analysis of the light curves indicates that the emission source is located near the geometric pole of the object. Even more improbable is the orientation of that pole. The rotational axis of 3I Atlas is aligned within 8 degrees of the Sun. The statistical probability of such alignment occurring by chance is vanishingly small. Then came perihelion. As the object moved away from the sun, the originally illuminated pole entered shadow. By every known physical model, activity should have ceased. Instead, a second emission source activated on the opposite side of the object, identical in structure and again precisely aligned toward the sun. The object did not rotate. It simply switched active poles. This implies either an extraordinary coincidence or intentional redundancy. At this point, the line between geology and engineering becomes impossible to ignore. If we assume that 3I Atlas is an automated interstellar probe or transport mechanism, the contradictions dissolve. Axial alignment supports communication or thermal shielding. Forward-facing systems handle braking and maneuvering during solar approach. Rear-facing systems activate after perihelion to provide outbound acceleration. For an engineer, this configuration is elegant and logical. For a geologist, it is inexplicable. Natural processes do not create mirrored, switchable, pole-mounted emission systems with extreme collimation and long-term stability. Nature does not build engines. The collimation itself presents yet another problem. The emitted stream remains narrow across hundreds of thousands of kilometers. Any gas expanding into vacuum should rapidly disperse, yet this stream does not. Either it is confined by an intense magnetic field or it consists of high-energy ions accelerated far beyond what natural cometary activity can produce. This is not a tail in the traditional sense. It is an energy discharge. Upcoming spectroscopic data from the James Space Telescope may provide a decisive answer. If ionized metals or anomalous isotopic signatures are detected, the case for a natural origin will effectively collapse. We are not looking for water, we are looking for technology. On the night of December 19th, observational conditions were nearly perfect. A new moon darkened the sky and 3I Atlas passed at its closest distance to Earth. What followed was an avalanche of data now being processed by supercomputers around the world. We stand at a crossroads. Either 3I Atlas is the most statistically improbable natural object ever observed, a convergence of physical impossibilities, or it is a non-human construct, an interstellar mechanism passing silently through our system. A 500,000-kilometer antitail aimed at the sun, extreme and sustained emission velocities, unwavering rotational stability, and perfectly timed polarity switching are facts that cannot be ignored. Draw your own conclusions, guided by logic rather than habit. Truth does not cease to exist simply because it challenges our worldview. Keep watching the sky. Something has passed through our neighborhood and it may not have been random.